The anime begins with Momo getting in a fight with her boyfriend because he insists that she lend him money for the date. He ends up knocking her down and calling her lame and broke. We then see Momo telling her classmates how her first boyfriend broke up with her. Momo later spots kids in a classroom picking on Ken, so she sits next to him. Ken later questions Momo to see if she's into the occult and UFOs, but she insists she doesn't give a fuck. Momo later apologizes to him for being rude and reveals she believes in ghosts. As a result, Ken mocks her for believing in ghosts instead of aliens.
Later that day,
Ken sent Momo to Naki Hospital because it's widely known to be an alien hotspot. On the other hand, Momo sent Ken to a haunted tunnel. Inside the tunnel, Ken runs into a grandma that offers to let him suck on her tits if he lets her suck on his ding-dong. Ken runs away in fear while Turbo Granny chases after him. Back at the hospital, Momo encounters three figures and they capture her. Momo wakes up and is greeted by the Serpos from the planet Serpo. They reveal that their species is all male, so they must reproduce using cloning technology. Momo's smartphone starts ringing, and a hybrid Turbo Granny / Ken comes out of the phone and bites one of the Serpos' ball sacks. Oh! The Serpos blast Ken / Granny to the wall, and Ken reveals all he wanted was to meet an alien, but they never showed up to be his friend. We then go to a flashback where we see Momo's grandma teaching her how to release her ki. Back in the present, Momo awakens her ki and then headkicks a Serpo alien. Turbo Granny ends up releasing herself from Ken's body, but she says that he's been cursed. The random UFO they were in this whole time crashes and they exit out of it. Momo wants to know his name and Ken reveals that his full name is Ken Takakura, and Momo is blown away because she apparently has a crush on a guy named Ken Takakura. Momo loses her mind and slams Ken to the wall and tells him never to say his name again. Momo then renames him Okarun. Upon entering Momo's grandma's house, Okarun catches on fire due to a barrier that was placed. Momo then throws him into the water. The barrier is then removed, and Okarun with an afro now walks into the house. The two are now inside in Momo's room and find out that Okarun no longer has a dick. She took my dick! Due to Turbo Granny taking it from him. The two then find out that evil spirits are outside the house. The Flatwoods monster appears and then attacks both of them. The monster continues to pursue and attack them until Okarun has had enough and decides to use Turbo Granny's power. Now this new ability comes with an extremely chill personality, likewise to Shikamaru from Naruto. Okarun then later slices the monster's leg, and then he recovers and ends up throwing Momo to a wall viciously. Momo recovers and uses the talisman to incinerate the Flatwood monster. The monster is now gone and Momo passes out, and Okarun then randomly succumbs to Turbo Granny's curse. Turbo Granny attempts to consume Momo but is stopped by Momo's grandma after she throws a brick with a nail at her. Psycho then creates a barrier around Turbo Granny and batters her with a baseball bat. Momo wakes up in confusion and runs downstairs to ask Grandma Seiko what she did with the evil spirit. Seiko tells Momo to go to the main shrine. Momo opens the door and inside is Okarun eating a rice ball, and he's happy that she's alive. Momo then tells Granny Seiko that Turbo Granny stole Okarun's wiener and it's her responsibility to return his wiener back to its proper spot. Momo also reveals to Grandma that she saw a UFO and now has psychic powers. Seiko reveals how Turbo Granny used to go by 100 kilometers an hour Granny. Seiko recalls the time when she witnessed Turbo Granny and an earthbound spirit fuse into one while they were in a tunnel. Seiko tells Momo to challenge Turbo Granny to a game of tag because that's one way to get rid of her. Seiko then tells the two that she will be training them starting tomorrow. The next day, Okarun has to take a massive shit but doesn't want to go since Momo has to accompany him at all times to suppress his curse. Okarun can't hold it any longer and runs to the toilet to release. Turbo Granny then takes over Okarun's body mid-poopers and tells Momo to meet her at the tunnel tonight. That night, Momo and Okarun head to the tunnel by train. The two then arrive and enter the tunnel, and then the two get trapped from both sides by Turbo Granny's head. Okarun then transforms and then approaches Turbo Granny, but his curse randomly disappears. Granny reveals that she returned his genitals since Okarun is attempting to use the powers that she gave him against her. Turbo Granny then attempts to eat Okarun, but Momo stops her by challenging her to a game of race. Momo tells her it will actually be a game of tag, and then the two run off. Granny later captures Momo's entire body, and Okarun lunges at Granny and bites her tits as she screams in agony. Granny then enters inside of Okarun's body. Momo appears and constricts Turbo Granny's aura until she is entirely contained within Okarun. The earthbound spirit crab appears and chases them. The two then enter a hot spring, and Momo uses her physical power to destroy a pipe and boil the crab. The two are then chased by possessed humans, and Okarun transforms, and the two escape. Turbo Granny then reappears and knocks them both down. Momo uses her psychic arm to escape. Granny still pursues them, but Momo manages to exorcise Turbo Granny and the earthbound spirit crab. The next day, Psycho and the two pray at the tunnel for all the young girls that were turned to evil spirits by Turbo Granny. Okarun later that night leaves their house, and on the way out, Momo says, "See you tomorrow," which filled him with joy. Now in school, both Okarun and Momo are in their separate classes just thinking about aliens and ghosts, and both want to desperately talk to each other about it. Both later run into each other, and two girls catch and accuse them of kissing. Okarun later rushes into her class, desperately wanting to reveal something to her in private, but in front of all her classmates, she brushes Okarun off, and he walks away depressed. Okarun later runs into a pink-haired girl, and he gets flustered. Momo catches him later giggling. Momo later overhears the pink-haired girl talking to a friend and making fun of Okarun. Momo then drops a pot on the girl Era's head and knocks her out. On the way home, Momo apologizes to Okarun, but Okarun says forget about the apologies and reveals to Momo that he still has no balls. Now at Momo's house, Seiko slaps Okarun with a fan and tells Momo to grab his aura once it changes colors. Momo does so, and the aura transfers into a toy cat, and it runs away from them. They end up catching Turbo Granny inside the cat figure. Turbo Granny reveals that she's still alive because before Momo exorcised her and the crab, she hid back inside Okarun. Okarun tells Turbo Granny to give him back his balls.
Give back my balls! Give them back right now or else!
Okarun transforms into his Turbo Granny form randomly, and Seiko reveals that only Turbo Granny's consciousness left Okarun's body, but her powers is still inside the kid. Momo tells Turbo Granny to return Okarun's balls back, and then after doing so, they will return her powers back to her. Turbo Granny says that she lost his balls and doesn't know where they are at. Turbo Granny tells the two that the balls are gold and shiny and won't be hard to find. The next day at school, Okarun is told a rumor from a student that Momo is a freak, and Okarun transforms and almost destroys the kid. Okarun gets pissed off after seeing Turbo Granny Cat at his school. In class, Momo is told about Okarun pressing a kid for spreading a nasty rumor about her. Pink-haired girl wakes up from consciousness and spreads a rumor about Momo being a slut. The pink-haired girl, Ira, reveals how she saw a demon wing sprouting from Momo's back. Ira then reveals that she has one of Okarun's balls. Turbo Granny reveals that a human could have found the balls, and if they do find them, they would activate the spiritual power in the human and start seeing spirits. Ira walks up to Momo and says that she wants to talk to her. They then meet at an abandoned warehouse, and two girls jump on Momo and tie her up. Ira jumps on her back and reveals that she has the infamous holy testicle. Okarun shows up running after them, and then a creepy lady appears named Acrobatic Silky. Okarun then transforms and begins fighting Acrobatic Silky. Acrobatic then tells Ira that she is her mother. Ira responds by saying that she was chosen by God to kill demons like her. Acrobatic Silky doesn't like that response and then begins eating her. Acrobatic then grabs Momo and begins whooping her ass all across the abandoned warehouse. She then also swallows Momo for not calling her mommy. Acrobatic Silky then catches on fire due to swallowing Ira's lighter. While she's burning, she then throws the two girls up. Okarun then grabs Ira and runs off along with Momo. Acrobatic later knocks Okarun and Ira down. Momo points out how Acrobatic Silky's hair is tied up throughout the warehouse. Okarun ends up head spearing Acrobatic Silky and sends her flying to a wall. Turbo Granny takes the golden testicle from Ira's unconscious body. Turbo Granny then tells the two that Ira is dead. Momo uses her ghost hands to pump her heart while Okarun does CPR on her, but it doesn't work. Acrobatic Silky gets up and tells Momo to use her psychic powers to create a link between her aura and Ira's. Momo attempts to do so, and then we go to a flashback of Acrobatic Silky with her daughter during her lifetime. Throughout the flashback, it's all peaceful and beautiful until we see a day when a random guy was beating the shit out of Acrobatic, and then he takes her daughter with him. Acrobatic, one day bloody in the streets, encounters a young Ira, who for a second thought Acrobatic was her mommy, until her dad shows up and tells her that she's actually not her mom. Acrobatic seems to have lost her mind, thinking Ira was actually her daughter all along. Now in the present, Acrobatic Silky slowly dies as Ira awakens. Ira gets up and runs towards Acrobatic Silky and hugs her and calls her mommy as she slowly vanishes away. While eating, Momo apologizes to Ira and then tells her to apologize to Okarun. Instead, she persists on calling Momo a demon and questions Psycho being her grandma, since she looks too hot to be her grandma. Ira promises to Okarun that she will free him from whatever demonic spell Momo has on him, and then runs off. We then see Turbo Granny pitch the golden testicle back in Okarun's sack. Now at school, Ira finds Okarun and goes for a kiss, but Okarun stiff arms her. Ira pursues on confessing her love to Okarun, and he ends up mounting her on top control in order to stop her from raping him. Momo then shows up while Okarun is on top control, and she walks away pissed off. While in class, Okarun notices that everyone in school is gone except Ira, and they both go looking for Momo. Momo randomly encounters a dinosaur across the hall. Okarun and Ira then encounter an alien with boxing gloves. Okarun then transforms and tells her to stay away. The Serpos then appear and pin Okarun down. The Serpos prepare to chop Okarun's banana off due to his being exceptional, but Ira transforms for the first time and tells him to release Master Okarun. Ira begins fighting the Serpo and the alien boxer. Okarun later transforms and head spears the alien boxer named Dover Demon to the wall. Momo then shows up. A green liquid randomly starts flooding the floor that they are in. The Serpo Dover Demon Nessie chases after them in the water. Momo uses her ghost hands to ride Okarun like a boat and swim faster. They end up catching Ira. The three later get slapped by Serpo Dover and as a result get separated. Serpo Dover and Momo fight underwater. Okarun shows up and splits through the Serpo Dover. The three then wake up in school naked and run off in embarrassment. Queen, who is a school nurse, questions if they are being bullied, and that's probably why they were in their underwears. A staff member barges in and tells Queen about a phone call that she is receiving, and so she walks out. Okarun thinks there is a good chance the aliens have his other testicle. Ira's friends barge in and drag her out of that room. In class, Ira's classmates are worried about her and start blaming Momo for whatever is happening to Ira. Ira reveals to her classmates that she spread the fake rumors about Momo and tells everyone to stop talking bad about her and then walks away. Outside, Momo finds Ira and also finds out that she covered up for her with her classmates who were spreading the rumors. And then we see Dover Demon show up wanting more, but he quickly passes out due to exhaustion. Dover Demon wakes up in the ISA household. Dover gets on his knees and begins crying, thanking them for giving him proper medical attention and for being kind to him. Dover then eats dinner with them. Dover Demon tells the crew how he is in desperate need for money for his son's blood transfusion. Psycho then finds out that the Dover's blood is made of milk. Psycho tells Dover that she will secure him a cow so that he can heal his son. We then see the Dover Demons picking up the cow in their UFO, and they say their farewells to the humans. Now at the house, the doorbell rings and in comes Momo's childhood best friend, also her first crush, Gigi. Psycho reveals that Gigi is moving in to live with them. Momo loses her shit since she finds him annoying. While washing dishes, Gigi tells Momo how he can now see ghosts ever since he went to a place in the mountains with his family. He saw a ghost there and ever since kept seeing it. His parents then randomly got really sick and staying with Saiko was recommended to him in order to heal his parents. Saiko tells Momo that she will actually be the one to confront this challenge. Now in school, Gigi is introduced as the new transfer student. Gigi tells the class how he and Momo live together and are lovers. Okarun is in his class, jealous and depressed. An anatomical model begins randomly running into school and Momo realizes that he has a golden ball in his sack. Momo and Okarun chase the guy, but he eventually loses them. The three later find the anatomical model in the junkyard laying down. Momo reveals that she took his heart while he was escaping. Hana calls for Taro in the junk pile, and the two lovers reunite. Now at the Ayase residence, the crew fall on their knees begging Saiko to allow Hana to stay with them for some time. It turned out Taro's golden balls was actually a Christmas ornament he was wearing. That night, Taro gets off work from school and runs to Saiko's house to see Hana, but Taro gets hit by a bus on the way home. Early that morning, Taro shows up all fucked up from the bus's damage and he reunites with Hana. And we see Gigi in his room and he cannot sleep due to the evil spirits he keeps seeing. In the train, Okarun gets jealous seeing Momo and Gigi interact. He realizes that he needs to focus on something else, like getting his nut back.
I need to focus on something else. Like getting my nut back.
The two end up sorta bonding in the train over a magazine that holds info on the existence of certain creatures. The three then arrive to a town full of hot springs. The three go inside Gigi's house since they are here to find the evil spirits that Gigi is sensing. Momo goes solo to a hot spring to relax. Gigi hangs out with Okarun as the two play soccer. The two end up arguing over who loves Momo the most. A group of hornballs approach Momo in the hot springs. Okarun and Gigi notice how the house has gained an extra room, and so he busts a hole in the wall with a hammer.